Hey Mohan, this video is in case you were not able to come to December 2020's Web Wednesday, which was our first Web Wednesday ever. Rebecca and I have created a slide deck to go over some of our Google tips and tricks that we shared yesterday. This month's topic was about organizing your drive. So on our website, we have posted this slide deck that you can go through and you can kind of walk yourself through these steps. But I thought in this video, instead of going through the slide deck, because you're more than capable of doing that yourself, we could make a video actually doing the things in the drive so that you can see it in the slide deck and also watch me do it in my own Google Drive. So the first topic that we talked about was just learning how to right click on the computer. Obviously, it's easy because you have your mouse and you have a right click. If you're working on a Chromebook, I call it, for the kids, I call it the 2-finger tap. You literally take your 2 pointer fingers and it's not a full click. You don't have to actually compress the trackpad. You just have to tap on the trackpad. So if I'm at my folder here for living environment and I 2-finger tap, it should, of course, it's going to make a liar out of me. So that will get you your right click options. And that will get you all of these things that you're going to see in the slide deck. So after you've figured out how to right click, if you would like to change the folder color, so you'll notice that I have a green folder, a red folder, and a purple folder. If I want to change a folder, I could take this folder here that doesn't have a color. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to go to change color. Pretty simple, right? I can pick any color that I want that is, here and given to me. I'll go with a little bubblegum action for the how-tos. And there it is. Now that folder is colored. Rebecca is big. I'm also big on color coding, but I color code more of my classes and my Google Classroom. Rebecca's whole Google Drive is color coded. So if you want to take a look at hers, you should reach out to her because she has a really, first of all, it's not nearly as full of junk as mine is. But it also is really pretty to look at because it's all color coded. So you can do that if you want. It takes some upfront work, but once it's done, then it's done. And then you just have to kind of keep up with it. So that's how you would change the color. If I wanted to take a folder and I want to rename it, same thing. You're going to right click on it and you're just going to click on rename. I like to add, you'll notice I have stars in front of some. I have numbers in front of some. I like things to be easier for me to access. So before I did my numbers and stuff, these were all falling alphabetically, which is not so bad for attendance because it's A, but it still would have been after my soccer folders and things like that. My living environment folder, I had to scroll for. I had to go find it in the L section all the time. Criminal science, again, not so bad because it's a C, but I had to really scroll for it. These are the folders that I use the most, these two. Guaranteed. That's where I use the most. All of my materials that I have on Google Drive for each of those classes are in those folders. So it's so much easier for me to put the number 1 and the number 2 in front of them, and that causes them to populate all the way at the top. You can change how you want to sort your drive. So if I click on this arrow, it's going to do a reverse alphabet. So it's going to sort it. It might take a second because my Chromebook's kind of slow, but it will go from Z or W for me through A. So all of my numbers would be at the end now. And here those are. So I like it alphabetized A through Z. So that's how I do it. But you can also, can't believe how slow this brand new Chromebook is. You can also change whether you want it to be sorted by name, by when you last opened it or last changed it, by things that are yours versus things that you've opened and modified and stuff like that. So you can kind of change it based on what you use more, whichever works for you. So to put in the symbols is pretty straightforward. Still, you're going to right click. You're going to go to rename and you're just going to add in, maybe I don't know where this will populate, but if I do just 1 star versus my attendance one has 2 stars, that it should go, I think it will go after, but it might go before. Let's find out. Yep, so it will go right after attendance. So it goes 2 stars to 1 star and then goes in number order and then goes in alphabetical order. Okay, so that's how you can add in symbols. The other thing you can see is here I have a couple of emojis. Okay, so the emojis are a little trickier, and I learned yesterday on my new Chromebook that it is a little different. So it might look different on my screen than it looks on yours because it looks different on this new Chromebook that I got yesterday versus literally the one I had 2 days ago. So again, you're going to go to rename, and then instead of having the star here. We're going to put our cursor where we want it. Now, you could always put it at the end too if you wanted to put the emoji at the end, but it's going to alphabetize it based on that first beginning thing. So if you want it to be populated earlier in your list, and that's what the purpose of the emoji is, then you want to put it ahead of time. Otherwise, you can put it afterwards just to have it look cool. So you're going to put your cursor there, and then you're going to right click. And when you get this right click menu all the way at the top, it says emoji. Now, mine, I can search, I think. It looks a little, like I said, it looks a little different than it used to look before. But I can also just go here and look for the emoji that I'm looking for. So maybe I want it to have, something fancy before it. I would actually kind of like it to have like a heart before it, like the orange heart, but I don't really know where that is. And oh, here we go. Orange heart, because it's soccer. So, and it's my girls. So we will click orange heart. That's in there. Save it. On some of your Chromebooks, you can right click and click on emoji, and then you actually are just going to start typing what you're searching for, and what you're searching for will stay underlined as you type it, and then it will kind of pop up and you can select it, and then it will replace the word you've typed with the emoji that you picked. So that is how that works, to add in an emoji. So the last thing that we went over in our December Web Wednesdays was talking about this priority section. So priority is something that it's new to me. I think it's only been around for maybe a year or so. I only just started using it this school year. But if you click on priority, I already have what they call a workspace. I don't know why they use two different terms, like a priority versus a workspace, but they do. So automatically for me, it always shows me like the things I most commonly open or that I've recently opened. For me, the purpose of the workspace is I organize things by my classroom, which class. So living environment versus criminal science. So it doesn't necessarily mean I'm obviously teaching both at the same time. So there are some times when I need to access documents from both things all the time. So I have created this workspace. The workspace has, and there's a couple other things in it. The workspace has my plans for all three of my classes, which are in these docs. The blue symbol is your Google Doc, and also my agendas for all three of those classes. So they're all in one place for me. And they're not being moved out of the folder they really live in my organizational drive. They're actually just being populated in another place for me easily. If I were to delete this whole workspace, it would not delete the documents, and it would not delete where they live in their organizational space in my drive. It is just basically a way to pull from various places and keep a bunch of things together so that it is just a little bit easier for you. So I have my curriculum out. These are my 2020 important docs. So if I want to create a new workspace, I click on create. Maybe I create a workspace for Web Wednesdays. Click on create. And here I am. It's going to pop right open. It's going to try to get me. First of all, it's going to say, hey, don't you want to add these? I'm going to say yes. Yes, I do. I'm going to add, this is our website, so I'll add that to it. And I also would like to add, this was the other suggestion. So yeah, I'm going to add that as well. Added. And then I'm going to move my face here. Then I can click done. So now I have this new workspace here. And anytime I open up my drive, I'm going to be looking at this. Now, again, yours is probably giving you the quick access options, which is kind of like a modified workspace. But if the things you're looking for aren't there, if you're like me and you're a teacher in 19 classrooms, because we're all in teachers in each other's classrooms, sometimes the things that's quick access is somebody else's lab from a kid I don't know, from a class I don't teach. But that's what's quick access because it was recently opened somewhere. So that's why the priority thing is nice. You can just click right over to the priority and what you need is right there. You can continue to add to this if you want. So it's not set in stone. You click on the three dots and that's always going to give you all of your options. You can hide it or you can remove it or you can rename it. If you view the workspace, that's where you're going to be able to add your files. So you can keep adding to it. You can take things out of it. If you decide, okay, no longer want this in there, but I still want the workspace, you can click. It's the three dots that you're always looking for. It's going to give you your options. Okay. So you can then go down here and say, okay, remove from workspace. Okay. So that is the priority portion of the Google Drive, which I have found to be helpful. And I think Rebecca has also been using it and found to be helpful. So hopefully this whole video is a little bit helpful for you. And there's some good tips and tricks that you can use for your future Googliness. Thanks for watching.